Hello everyone. In today's reading video, we will continue with the next subtopic, that is temperature. Before starting this lecture, just look into this. Till now, we have completed history and the polity sessions from Lucent GK objective, and we are continuing with the economy. If at all you want to check the complete lectures, go to this playlist and click on it and play from first onwards. And there are 7 lectures of polity, and there are 9 lectures of history. Go to the playlist and play it in a sequence manner so that you won't miss any chapter. Okay, thank you. To this, let's start the lecture. Assertion: generally temperature decreases from the equator towards poles, which is temperature gradient, but the highest temperature is never recorded at the equator. Instead, it is recorded near both the tropics. True. A sizable portion of the incoming solar radiation is reflected by clouds, and a large part of heat is spent in the process of evaporation. The reason is also right, and this is the correct explanation for assertion. Temperature generally decreases towards the poles because progressively lesser solar energy per unit area falls on the Earth's surface as we move to polar regions. A temperature inversion is most likely to occur under which of the following conditions? Under calm, clear, and cool winter night. The normal lapse rate of the temperature in the troposphere is 1 degree Celsius for every 166 meters. Match the list 1 with the list 2. Evaporation, gain of heat, condensation, transformation of water, precipitation, vapor into release of moisture, insolation, cold move into warm air. Another matching: ozone hole, acceleration effect of ozone destruction, greenhouse, difference in the outgoing and incoming radiation of the atmosphere, global warming, increase in the carbon dioxide level, albedo, ratio of reflected radiation to radiation received. The daily and annual range of temperature is maximum in the hot desert. On the clear winter night, Earth is cooled by radiation. When temperature is reduced to dew point, condensation occurs in the form of fog, dew, and frost. All of these. Pyrometer is used to measure high temperature. As a means of heat transfer in the atmosphere, which of the following is least significant? That is conduction. With increasing height, air temperature drops uniformly with altitude at a rate of approximately 6.5 degrees Celsius per 1000 meters. This phenomenon is commonly called environmental lapse rate. Next, assertion and reason. When temperature is held constant, the density of a gas is proportional to pressure, and volume is inversely proportional to pressure, right? An increase in pressure will cause an increase in density of the gas and a decrease in its volume. This is also true, but this is not a correct explanation for assertion. Next, assertion and reason. In middle and high latitudes, insolation values over the ocean as compared to those at the rate of latitude over the land are generally higher. True. Greater cloudiness over land surfaces accounts for this variation. This is also correct, and reason is the correct explanation for assertion. Next, assertion and reason. Outside the tropics, annual receipts of solar radiation generally decrease with increasing latitude. Minimum value occur at the poles. This is true. This pattern is primarily the result of Earth-Sun geometric relationships and its effect on the duration and intensity of solar radiation received. This is also correct statement, but reason is not the correct explanation for assertion. Short-wave radiation from the sun enters the surface atmosphere system of the Earth and is ultimately returned to space as long wave radiation because the Earth is cooler than the sun. Which word fits this description? Places near or on the coast have a smaller temperature range than those inland. that is latitude. Which one of the following factor can have the greatest, that is distance from the sea? Consider the following statements. The decrease of temperature with increasing latitude is more pronounced in North Atlantic Ocean than the South Atlantic Ocean. No, which of the statements is are correct? This is not the right statement, this is wrong one. The vertical distribution of temperature is enclosed seas of high latitudes registers inversion of temperature. This is correct statement. When a descending air contracts and its volume decreases, what happens to its temperature? Its temperature remains constant. The difference between the maximum and minimum temperatures recorded for a place during a period of one day is called diurnal temperature range. Minimum and maximum temperature are obtained from an instrument called a 6 thermometer. The lowest temperature is recorded by alcohol thermometer. Which of these statements about climate makes the most sense? Temperatures decreases as you go further from the equator. Temperatures decrease with altitude. The Gulf of Mexico has higher air temperatures than Britain because it is closer to the equator. Which of the following statements is true? Mountains receive more rainfall than low-lying areas, right? A mountain receives the highest rainfall one side, but it doesn't receive the rainfall in the other side. The highest receiving side is called as what, and the lowest receiving side is called as what? Mention those names in the comments. The temperature on top of mountains is lower than the temperature at sea level. True. The higher the place is above sea level, the colder it will be. This is also right. All the statements are correct. Air temperatures are affected by slope and orientation, as slopes facing into the sun will be warmer than those facing away. On tall mountains, a zonation of climate occurs as you move towards higher elevation. Which of the following is or are correct? Temperature decreases with altitude, so mountainous regions, plateaus, etc. can have cooler than expected temperatures. True. The orientation of a slope in higher latitudes can affect the local time. South-facing slopes in northern extratropical regions will be warmer and get more hours of sunlight than north-facing slopes. This is also true. Mountain ranges can act as barriers to wind and rainfall, with much of the rain falling on the windward side and top of the mountain and the lee of the mountain in rain shadow, that is, with little rain. This is also right. Highest rain falling region called as windward side and the lowest falling region is called as the leeward side. I have already told it. Under which of the following conditions would the influence of aspect on temperature be most noticeable? A flat sandy surface in the Sahara Desert during July. Four towns, all at about the same altitude and on the same line of latitude, have mean January temperatures as given below. Which town is farthest from the sea? Minus 18 degrees centigrade. Seasonal temperature variations are caused by vertical rays of the sun. Normally, the temperature decreases with the increase in height from the Earth's surface because the atmosphere can be heated upwards only from the Earth's surface, right? There is more moisture in the upper atmosphere. No, the air is less dense in the upper atmosphere. True. First and third statements are the correct statements. The normal lapse rate of temperature in the troposphere is 1 degree centigrade, 1 degree Celsius for every 166 meters. This is the repeated question. Next assertion and reason. The temperature in the southern hemisphere is considerably lower than that in the northern hemisphere. True. The large mass of ice-covered Antarctic continent is an important source of cold in the south. No, false. Assertion is the right statement. Temperature inversion is negative lapse rate. Which of the following pairs of months is used in isothermal maps to examine extremes of temperature, that is January and July? Temperature inversion shows warmer air overlying colder air. The thermal equator is found at the equator. Harsh latitudes lie within the atmospheric pressure belts of equatorial low. The intensity of insolation depends on nature of terrain, what does happens when water is condensed into ice, that is heat is absorbed. I'm not explaining each and every question because if at all I go on explaining, then I think this may take 100 lectures or 60 lectures. Then those will convert it into 120 or 200 lectures. That's why I'm not explaining each and every statement. You should check out each and every statement in these questions because that will increase your knowledge in this general knowledge. Okay, that will help you in the future. Make it by yourself. Everything won't be done by me. Next subtopic is the humidity. The humidity of air measured in percentage is called relative humidity. Which of the following does not affect visibility on the ground? That is dew. Which of the following statements regarding relative humidity is or are correct? It is an index of the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. True. It measures the readiness with which vapor will condense from the air. True. The value of the relative humidity varies inversely with temperature and rises during nights. Right. It is the ratio of the mass or weight of water vapor per unit volume of air condensed measured in grams per cubic meter. This is the false statement. Other three options are the right. Climate is extreme, rainfall is scanty, and the people used to be nomadic herders. The above statement best describes which of the following regions, that is Siberian tundra. Water vapor has several very important functional roles on our planet. These are: it redistributes heat energy on the Earth through latent heat energy exchange, right? The condensation of water vapor creates precipitation that falls to the Earth's surface, providing needed fresh water for plants and animals. True, it helps warm the Earth's atmosphere through the greenhouse effect. This is also right. All the statements are the correct statements. Which term is used to describe the amount of water vapor that exists in a gaseous mixture of air and water vapor? That is the relative humidity. Next, assertion and reason. The term relative humidity is reserved for systems of water vapor in air. True. The term relative saturation is used to describe the analogous property for systems consisting of a condensable phase other than water in a non-condensable phase other than air. This is also right, but reason is not the correct explanation for assertion. Next, assertion and reason. For a given dew point and its corresponding absolute humidity, the relative humidity will change inversely, albeit non-linearly with the temperature. This is true. The partial pressure of water increases with temperature. This is also right, and the reason is the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following is defined as the ratio of partial pressure of water vapor in a parcel of air to the saturated vapor pressure of water vapor at a prescribed temperature, that is relative humidity. The quantity of water in a particular volume of air is called absolute humidity. Next, assertion and reason. Humidity is a measure of the amount of water vapor dissolved in the air, not including any liquid water or ice falling through the air. This is true. For clouds to form, the rain to start, the air doesn't have to reach 100% relative humidity at the Earth's surface, but only where the clouds and raindrops form. This is also correct statement, but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following is the temperature at which water vapor saturates from an air mass into liquid or solid, usually forming rain, snow, frost, or dew? That is dew point. If the dew point is below freezing, it is referred to as frost point. Dew point normally occurs when a mass of air has a relative humidity of 100%. A device used to measure humidity is called as hygrometer and psychrometer. Both the devices are used to measure the humidity. The mass of water vapor divided by the mass of dry air in the volume of air at a given temperature is called absolute humidity. Next assertion and reason. Relative humidity is the ratio of the current absolute humidity to the highest possible absolute humidity. True. Reading of 100% relative humidity means that the air is totally saturated with water vapor and cannot hold any more, creating the possibility of rain. Reason is also right, but this is not the right explanation for assertion. The amount of water vapor in the air at any given time is usually less than that required to saturate the air. This is true. The relative humidity is the percent of saturation humidity generally calculated in relation to saturated vapor density. This is also correct statement, but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following statement is true? Saturated air has a relative humidity of 100%, right? Air with a relative humidity in excess of 100% is said to be supersaturated, true. Relative humidity is measured with the hygrometer, right? All of these statements are the true statements. Next, assertion reason. Water vapor is a lighter gas than air at the same temperature. So humid air will tend to rise by natural convection. True. This is a mechanism behind thunderstorms and other weather phenomena. This is also true, but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following statements is or are correct about convection? The act or presence of conveying transmission. True. Heat transfer in a gas or liquid by the circulation of currents from one region to another. This is also right. The transfer of heat or other atmospheric properties by massive motion within the atmosphere, especially by such motion directed upwards. All of the statements are the correct statements about convection. Condensation is a process which occurs when relative humidity becomes 100% and more. All of the following statements are true except, okay, relative humidity of a mass of air falls if the temperature of the air rises, right? Air is saturated when it is relative humidity is 100%, right? When air subsides, its relative humidity decreases. This is also true. The relative humidity of a mass of air remains constant when the air crosses over a cold land surface from a warm water surface, no falls. This won't be remains constant. Humidity is a result of presence of moisture content in the air. Specific humidity is it is the ratio of the mass of water vapor present to the total mass of air. What is relative humidity? It is the ratio of specific humidity. The relative humidity of a region is low when the difference between the readings of the wet and dry bulb thermometers is large. Humidity refers to brackishness of water, no. Latent heat, no. Water vapor in the atmosphere, nothing. None of these are the difference of the humidity. Relative humidity refers to ratio of actual amount of water vapor in the air to the amount it could hold at the temperature. Next is the matching, evaporation, gain of heat, condensation, transformation of water vapor into water, precipitation, release of moisture, insolation, incoming solar radiation. The actual moisture content of a sample of air as a percentage of that contained in the contained in the same volume of saturated air at the same temperature is called relative humidity. Because of which one of the following factors clouds do not precipitate in deserts due to low humidity? Which of the following instruments is used to measure humidity? That is sling psychrometer. Next subtopic is albedo and air mass. Albedo effect would be relatively higher in early morning and late evening. Next, assertion and reason. Albedo values can range between 3% for water at same zenith angles to over 95% for fresh snow. Right? On average, the Earth and its atmosphere typically reflect about 4% and 26% relatively of the sun's incoming radiation back to space over the course of one year. Resonance also right, and but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following statement is or are correct? The term albedo is commonly used to applied to the overall average reflection coefficient of an object. True, the greenhouse effect by trapping infrared radiation can lower the albedo of the Earth and cause global warming. Right, the albedo of an object will determine its visual brightness when viewed with reflected right? This is also true. All of the statements are the correct statements. The approximate amount of the sun's energy, called insolation, which reaches the Earth's surface is 75%. The albedo of which one of the following is the highest? That is melting snow. Which one of the following is the correct sequence in terms of descending values of albedo? That is snow, forest water, for snow, forest, then water. Which of the following are source regions of polar continental air masses? Those are North Eurasia and Antarctica. An instrument that measures air pressure is called barometer. Consider the following statements. Which of the following above statements are correct? The jet streams are located near the altitude of the tropopause, right? The polar front jet stream is evident throughout the year, but the subtropical jet stream is strong only during the half year centered on winter. This is also true. Both the statements are correct. Consider the following statements. Which of the given statements are correct? The subtropical jet stream is evident throughout the year, but the polar front jet stream is strong only during the half year centered on winter. True. The migration of equatorial low, that is ITCZ, intertropical continental zone, into the southern hemisphere in January is far less pronounced than its migration into the northern hemisphere in July. Both the statements are the correct statements. Next. The worldwide jet stream that occurs in winter above the troposphere resulting from a very steep stratospheric thermal gradient is the subtropical jet stream. Which one of the following reflects back more sunlight as compared to other three? Land covered with fresh snow. Because it is white in color, so the reflection will be higher rate. Next subtopic is cloud. Clouds usually form when air temperature reaches the dew point. Which of the following types of clouds is low level cloud? That is stratocumulus. Dash is the type of cloud that is tall, dense, and involved in thunderstorms and other intense weather. That is cumulonimbus clouds. Which of the following statements each are correct? High clouds, cirrocumulus, cirrus, and cirrostratus, right? Middle clouds, altostratus and altocumulus, right? Low clouds, cumulus, stratocumulus, nimbostratus, and stratus. All of them are the right options. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Altocumulus, altus and cumulus, high heap, right? Altostratus, altus and stratus, high layer, true. Cirrocumulus, cirrus and cumulus, lock of hair and heap. This is also right. Which of the following clouds are sometimes called fair weather clouds but can grow into more storm condition clouds and continued upward growth suggests showers later in the day? Those are cumulus. Next is assertion and reason. Clouds form when the dew point of the water is reached in the presence of condensation nuclei in the troposphere, right? Atmosphere is a dynamic system and the local conditions of turbulence, uplift and other parameters give rise to many types of clouds. This is also right, but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. The percentage of radiant energy reflected back by surface is called albedo. Next is the matching. List 1 layers of atmosphere and list 2 are the characteristics. Stratosphere contains much of total atmospheric zone. Exosphere, Neolithus, noity lucent clouds are observed over high latitude in summer. Troposphere, this temperature decreases with increasing height. Ionosphere, aurora boreals and aurora australis are produced. Consider the following statements. Convective type of precipitation is associated with towering cumulus and cumulonimbus clouds, right? In tropical cyclones, cumulonimbus cells become organized around the center in spiraling bands. Both the statements are correct. Collision coalescence process of precipitation is applicable to clouds that do not extend beyond freezing level. Clouds are formed by the condensation of water vapor in the atmosphere. What is a cloud? It is a kind of mist. Which one of the following is the correct sequence of cloud forming in ascending order of their heights from the ground? Those are cumulus, stratus, then cirrus. Thunderstorms originate from cumulonimbus. During a thunderstorm, the thunder in the skies is produced by the melting meeting of cumulonimbus clouds in the sky, no. Lightning that separates the nimbus clouds, no. Violent upward movement of the air and water particles, no. All of these are the wrong statements in producing the thunderstorms in the sky. Rain-bearing clouds look black because all light is scattered by them. The clouds extending from one side of horizon to other as a dark gray sheet having uniform base are called stratus clouds. Cloudburst is associated with cumulonimbus. Which one of the following types of cloud rarely forms at height lower than 5000 meters? Those are nimbostratus. Which of the following is not a low cloud? That is cirrostratus. Other than cirrostratus, all of these are low clouds. Which one of the following statements is correct? Collision coalescence process of precipitation is applicable to those clouds which do not extend beyond the freezing level. The clouds float in the atmosphere because of their low density. Cirrus clouds are high clouds. Next is El Nino, La Nino, and Southern Oscillation. Currently, India is facing El Nino effect or La Nina effect or Southern Oscillation effect. Mention that in the comments. Because of that effect only, we are facing such a major difference in our weather conditions. The occasional development of warm ocean surface waters along the coast of Ecuador and Peru is known as El Nino. The development of an El Nino brings drought to the western Pacific, right? Rains to the equatorial coast of South America, true. Convective storms and hurricanes to the central Pacific. This is also right. All of them are the developments of the El Nino. In some areas, the trade winds can become extremely strong and an abnormal accumulation of cold water can occur in the central and eastern Pacific. This event is called La Nina. Which of the following statement about El Nino and La Nina is correct? It is a periodic change in the atmosphere and ocean of the tropical Pacific region. True. It is defined in the atmosphere by the sign of the pressure difference between Tahiti and Darwin, Australia, and in the ocean of warming or cooling of surface waters of the tropical central and eastern Pacific Ocean. Right? El Nino is the warm phase of the oscillation and La Nina is the cold phase. All of the statements are true. The first signs of an El Nino are rise in surface pressure over the Indian Ocean, Indonesia, and Australia. True. Fall in air pressure over Tahiti and the rest of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean. True. Warm air rises near Peru, causing rain in the northern Peruvian deserts. True. Warm water spreads from the West Pacific and the Indian Ocean to the East Pacific. Right. It takes the rain with it, causing extensive drought in the Western Pacific and rainfall in the normally dry Eastern Pacific. This is also true. All of them are the right. Which of the following creates ocean upwelling off the coast of Peru and Ecuador and brings nutrient-rich cold water to the surface, increasing fishing stocks, that is water circulation? Which of the following statements about La Nina is are correct? La Nina causes mostly the opposite effects of El Nino, right? Atlantic tropical cyclone activity is generally enhanced during the La Nina, right? La Nina causes increased rainfall across the United States Midwest. This is also right. All of them are the right options. What are El Nino and La Nina? El Nino is the warming of water in the Pacific Ocean. True. La Nina is the cooling of water in the Pacific Ocean. True. El Nino weather creates rain and flooding along the Pacific coast. True. Warm water disrupts food chain of fish, birds, and sea mammals. Right. Tornadoes and thunderstorms in southern US. All of them are the right options. La Nina weather creates snow and rain on the west coast. True. Unusually cold weather in Alaska and warm weather in the rest of the USA. Right. Drought in the southwest. This is also true. All of them are the right options. Next is assertion and reason. El Nino and La Nino are extreme phases of a naturally occurring climate cycle referred to as the El Nino or Southern Oscillation. True. Both terms refer to large-scale changes in sea surface temperature across the eastern tropical Pacific. This is also correct, but this is not the right explanation for assertion. Next assertion and reason. El Nino and La Nino result from interaction between the surface of the ocean and the atmosphere in the tropical Pacific, right? Changes in the ocean impact the atmosphere and climate patterns around the globe. This is also true, but this is not the right explanation for assertion. Which of the following statement is not correct about El Nino and La Nino? Both El Nino and La Nino impact global and US climate patterns. True. In many locations, especially in the tropics, La Nino produces the opposite climate variations from El Nino. True. Parts of Australia and Indonesia are prone to drought during El Nino, but are typically wetter than normal during La Nino. This is also true. La Nina often features rainy than normal conditions in the southwest in late summer through the subsequent weather. This is false. The effect of La Nina are cooler sea temperatures, high atmospheric pressure, and drier air, right? Currents bring nutrients up from the deep water, providing feast rather than famine, right? Accompanying strong winds blow moisture away, making for cloudless skies and dry conditions in equatorial countries. This is also true. All of them are the right options. Next is assertion and reason. According to National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the El Nino part of the cycle involves warmer than usual sea temperatures, great amounts of rainfall, and low atmospheric pressure. True. The most extreme results of the El Nino event have included flooding from Ecuador to the Gulf of Mexico, massive marine life die-offs in the Pacific, hurricanes in Tahiti and Hawaii, and concurrent droughts in many other parts of the world from southern part to the Australia to Central America. This is also true. Both the statements are the right options, and reason is also the correct explanation for assertion. Next assertion and reason. El Nino, which affects wind and rainfall patterns, has been blamed for droughts and floods in countries around the Pacific Rim. True. El Nino refers to the irregular warming of the surface water in the Pacific. This is also true. True. Both the statements are true, but reason is not the correct explanation for assertion. Next assertion reason. Apart from large-scale climatic aberrations in the tropics, El Nino has a disastrous consequence on the fishing industry of Peru. True. El Nino leads to massive displacements of the rainfall, bringing droughts over large parts of the normal raining areas and torrential rains to arid regions of the tropics. This is also right, but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. El Nino is a warm current in the Pacific Ocean flowing near the coast of Peru. La Nino, which comes after El Nino, affects the Pacific Ocean by cooling it. The El Nino, which influenced the Indian monsoon, is a cold current, ocean current. No, this is La Nino. The warm ocean current that flows westwards along the coast of Ecuador and Peru. No, the low pressure system over western coast of Spain. No, all of them are the wrong options. So none of these. Which of the following conditions are associated with El Nino phenomena? Heavy rains in South America and droughts in Australia. The first research project program which focused on the El Nino Southern Oscillation and its predictability was called Climate Variability and Predictability. Tsunamis are produced by submarine earthquakes. Which one of the following statements regarding El Nino is not true? It is an extension of the equatorial current towards the western coast of South America, right? It is an occasional warm current leading to an increase of about 10 degrees Celsius in surface water temperatures. True. It develops as a temporary replacement of the usual cold Permian current. True. It causes an increase in planktons which thrive in the cold Permian current. This is the false one. This is not true. El Nino effect is closely associated with equatorial countercurrent. A new type of El Nino called El Nino Modoki appeared in the news. In this context, consider the following statements. Normal El Nino forms in the Central Pacific Ocean, whereas El Nino Modoki forms in Central Pacific Ocean. No, Eastern Pacific Ocean. No, false. Normal El Nino results in diminished hurricanes in the Atlantic Ocean, but El Nino Modoki results in the greater number of hurricanes with greater frequency. This is the right statement. Mention the comment that El Nino Modoki forms in which Pacific Ocean, which part of the Pacific Ocean. Mention that in the comments. La Nino is suspected to have caused recent floods in the Australia. How is La Nino different from El Nino? La Nina is characterized by unusually cold ocean temperature is equatorial Indian Ocean, whereas El Nino is characterized by unusually warm ocean temperature in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. No, false. El Nino has adverse effect on southwest monsoon of India, but La Nina has no effect on monsoon climate. This is true. The 2004 tsunami made people realize that mangroves can serve as a reliable safety hedge against coastal calamities. How do mangroves function as a safety hedge? The mangrove swamps separate the human settlements from the sea with a wide zone in which people neither live nor venture out. El Nino associated with the formation of the southwest monsoon of India is an abnormally warm ocean current. Okay, let's stop over here. In our next reading video, we will continue with the next subtopic, that is air pressure. Okay, before going, if at all you like the content, like, share with your friends and subscribe to my channel so that never miss any updates. Thank you.